G'day folks, Mark Higgins here from Unique Cars magazine. I'm with Joe Borg here. Joe's the Vice President of the Victorian Mustang Owners Club.
That's right. Yeah.
Welcome, Joe.
Thank you very much.
So what we have is your 1967 convertible and a 2019 model, which we'll get to in a minute. But tell me about your 1967 convertible.
The 67 came out of San Jose. We bought it in 2009. We spent 6 weeks over there driving it, put it in a container.
Yeah, you got it back here, you got the 67 back here, dismantled it. How long did it take to get it to this superb condition it is today?
About 1.5 years actually.
Okay.
It was quite a time-consuming program, but I was fortunate enough. My wife was very understanding, and I spent a lot of time in the garage, and I managed to get it done fairly quickly.
We're going from the 1967 Mustang right up to the current one now, 52 years on. Does the new car deserve the Mustang emblem?
Yeah, well, it certainly does. The car is actually quite unique to drive. It's got, in particular this one here, it's got an enormous amount of power, which is very usable, very easy to drive.
Yeah.
There's quite a few different modes and settings. And one particular thing is the brakes are absolutely sensational. They are so precise with the pedal application. The other thing I found that was really, really comfortable, really easy to drive, for a car that's such a large bodied car, there's quite a good viewing area. You can actually see quite a bit out of it, which I thought was quite good.
Yeah.
The different sport modes, I think you have to sit in the car and read that instruction manual quite a bit to find out how many modes it's got.
Yeah.
It is quite complicated.
Absolutely.
But mind you, I can see when you were changing the settings, it's quite easy to change. They're very user-friendly. Each control is user-friendly.
Yeah.
The steering is absolutely precise, but my favourite part of course, is the sport mode. The sport mode was just sensational. The way the transmission operated, the way it actually changed gear, the way it revved.
Well, Joe, in America, of course, since 1964, the Americans have been driving the Mustangs. We've had to wait until 2016. You and I both drove that car, and it was sensational. But this new one's a step up again, isn't it?
It certainly is. When we drove to 2017, it was a chalk and cheese compared to the older cars. The way the cars handled, the way the response was, the way the engine performance was totally different.
Yeah.
It was a really nice car to drive.
Yes.
It handled extremely well compared to what we've been driving in 2017. Come 2019, this car is completely different. It's almost like it's a completely new platform.
Yep.
The car is just fantastic. 2017, mind you, was fantastic.
Great car.
At the year, they're great car, and they still are great cars. Don't get me wrong.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think you're pretty lucky if you've still got one now, and they are reasonably priced second hand. But
Yes.
but in saying that, you're buying a lot of value for money. There's a lot of value for money for that car. They're really, really nice. But 2019 at the moment has certainly got me over the edge, I think.
Yeah. It's chalk and cheese from the old car. It really is. It's got more power. 339 kilowatts. It's got a 10-speed auto.
That's what I like.
The 10-speed auto is really good. In fact,
fantastic.
it's better than the manual, I think. And I like driving manuals, but I think the auto is better again. And I like the way now that they gave the suspension a big tweak, because the 2017, particularly in the rain, had a tendency to flick the bum out a bit and be a bit twitchy and all the rest. That is totally different in the way it rides and handles, and it gives you a lot more confidence when you want to have a bit of a crack down a bit of a winding road, which, let's face it, that's brilliant at doing that. It's made for it, isn't it? Well, it's that and a drag strip, and it has a drag strip mode, as we found out.
That was the other thing I couldn't get. The drag strip mode is good. The traction control is fantastic.
Yeah.
Going the corner at a reasonably good pace, it still sits really well, and you can accelerate out of the corner, and it actually just simply squats and takes off. It really feels very, very sure-footed. It feels really nice.
Yeah, it does.
Feel nice.
It does for sure. It's no wonder that the car's the biggest selling sports car in Australia, and they've sold 22,000 since January 2016 when they launched it here. That's not bad in a small market like Australia.
And there's always been a way. I mean, the people are buying them, waiting a year for their cars, so obviously there was a market for it.
Well, yeah.
They waited.
They did. Well, we've waited 52 years, really,
right,
when you think about it. And in America, I know in '64 when they launched it in New York at the World Trade Fair, Ford expected a sales of 100,000 units in year one. They got 22,000 units sold day one. within 2 years they'd sold 1 million cars.
That's right.
So they kind of went, what do we do now? So my understanding is every Ford factory kind of stopped making everything else and started making Mustangs.
Yeah.
And it turned the company around because they were in the deep fertiliser with the Edsel. And the board were like, do we take another chance? But Lee Iacocca, thank goodness for him, we've got to do it, we've got to do it, we've got to do it.
Well,
and he did,
Yeah.
and there's a result.